Do you ever just hop on Roblox and feel, well, bored? Summer's almost over. I should be playing games till my fingers fall off. But every time I look at the front page, I, don't feel anything anymore. New games often feel like the same old, or hardly even like games at all. In my opinion, for a game on Roblox to be fun, it's gotta have some kind of gameplay loop that entices you to keep playing, or of a unique style or features. Games that lack soul or a reason to play pollute the platform and make it hard to find games like that. But sometimes, in rare cases, those games are pushed to the mainstream, like the subject of this video. When this game came out, it was an instant success, becoming one of the most popular games on the platform, getting thousands of views on YouTube, and even getting merch made for it, including full-length books. Piggy was a success in almost every way. But then again, what makes this game so special? Why did I and so many others love it so much? Did it really have everything I mentioned previously? Well, to find that all out, I'm replaying Piggy Book 1, from start to finish, to find out what makes Piggy such an interesting and unique game on Roblox. The Roblox place for Piggy was created on January 22nd, 2020, but it wasn't until about a week later the first chapter was added. The gameplay Piggy is pretty simple. In almost every map you're locked in an area. To open doors you need the corresponding tools that can unlock them. Usually keys or keycards in many different colors. The most important key being the white key, as in most cases it unlocks the final door exit you need to escape. It's not the only thing you need to escape most of the time though. As for example in House, you also need the hammer to knock the boards off the door, the key code to unlock the keypad, and the wrench to fix the door's wiring. Once all the requirements are met for the escape door though, it opens and you're free to leave. While on the surface it sounds pretty easy, where it becomes difficult is also having to dodge the Piggy. There are different modes that can be selected after picking a map to play. Player, Bot, and Player plus Bot are always in the rotation, but the three other slots cycle between Infection, Swarm, Tag, and Trader. Player makes a random player in the server the Piggy. You can buy skins and traps for this role by killing players as Piggy, beating maps as the player. Some of these traps include a literal teleporter. Bot makes the Piggy a bot, whose skin changes depending on the map, with some maps having two bots. Player plus Bot is the combination of both the previously mentioned, but when active on maps that already have built-in bots, it becomes very chaotic very quickly. Swarm is a mode where every 30 or so seconds, a new bot spawns in, which just makes this mode also very chaotic. Infection is similar to Swarm, but instead a player is chosen as Piggy, and instead of dying once caught by them, they also become a Piggy. In Trader, well, there's a traitor amongst the players, but it's to kill everyone. Sorta like an imposter. Finally, in Tag, one player is chosen as this demented creature called the Crawling Trap, and they have to chase or tag one of the players. If a player is tagged by the tagger, they become a tagger, and then the tagger becomes a player. This goes on until one player escapes the map, or, well, the time runs out. Piggy Book 1 has 13 chapters, Chapter 12 having 3 separate endings, and Distorted Memory being, well, a distorted memory. Beating all the chapters in Book 1 and the 3 endings of Chapter 12 will give you a really cool reward that we'll talk about much later. In my experience, the hardest chapters are Hospital, Chapter 6, the chapter after Chapter 5, and the chapter before Chapter 7. I just had to do a lot of takes for the Hospital. It was really hard. But yeah, that's about it for all the gameplay features. Although there are a couple more things I want to talk about, so here they are. The thing about Piggy's gameplay though, is that it's eerily similar to another popular horror game. It's Granny, by the way. But I mean, the whole mascot horror thing, of course, is from FNAF. So now the question is, comma, why not just play Granny? Well, honestly, that's just the thing about a lot of Roblox games. Lots of them, and lots of the popular ones, are super unoriginal when you really think about it, being copies of something that came before or spiritual successors to others. It doesn't inherently make the games bad. Hell, my favorite Roblox game is Jailbreak, which is a blatant copy of GTA 5. But my point is that Roblox really is in a place where originality is pushed to the top, which you could probably already figure out from the whole noun of verb game trend. But anyway, back to how I would play this game over Granny. It's mostly due to the fact I'm just more attached to this game, considering the time period it came out in, and how popular it was at the time. And I'm also just more inclined to play this game because, well, I've never actually played Granny before, so yeah, it's just more significant to me due to a lot of factors. And one of those factors is actually the story, which I'm about to get into. And I mean, if you haven't played the game, spoiler warning, I guess, but it's been out for like, what, 6 years now? So let's just jump straight into it. Now move on to the story of this game. And honestly, I'd say this is the best part. When these chapters were first coming out, each time they would add more and more to the lore, giving YouTubers time to speculate and think about how things would go. It was really fun. But what is the story? Well, you're about to find out. We, as in the player, stop at a house. The house of the Piggy family. To look for Georgie Piggy, as he recently became a missing person in Lucella, a city in Avalia. But that's not important right now. We're looking for him because we are a police officer, only to be attacked by a monster-like pig. They knock us out and lock us into the house. So in order to escape, we unlock each component of the door. Afterwards, rushed out of the house and into the car, driving to the station to report the situation. Hey, that rhymed. When we get there, though... Attention! Attention! A monster is in the station! Get to the garage, now! Well, frick. Whoever said that was right. Looks like there's another monster. No worries. There's a car in the garage, and if we fuel it up, we should be good to go. Some more puzzling later, and we open up the garage. And hey, look! It's Doggy. He's our best friend, who's also a police officer. And together, we'll survive this infection. We fuel up the car and start driving, only to realize that the gas can was straight out a dusty trip and barely had anything in it. We run out of gas and get surrounded by monsters, deciding to go through the gallery and out the other side, where Doggy reminds us to stay true to who we are. After that, we head to the forest, where it's relatively safe. And after 4 weeks, we realize that the monsters are actually infected civilians. But how did this happen? One night, though, we wake to Doggy being gone. And when we find him, he's infected. Who could have done such a thing? We escape the forest, leaving Doggy behind, and finding a walkie-talkie placed on the table. Hearing this come from it.
Hello? Is anyone out there? My name is Mr. P, and I need you to rescue my friend from this hole.
Well, with nothing to lose, we head to the prison. I mean, school. Doing the easy puzzles, we free Bunny. She won't get infected because she has a crossbow. Right? Right? Anyways, we head down to the sewer and find a giant sweet potato. This being Mr. P. If you couldn't guess the P's for potato. But anyways, we start feeling a little lightheaded and everything goes black. It seems like hanging around all those infected had an effect on us. And so, we get hospitalized. When we come to, we of course wake up in the hospital, where Bunny explains to us that it's been compromised. So, in order to escape, we need to get to the roof and get into the helicopter that Mr. P has waiting for us. Preferably, as fast as we can. So, after all that, we make it to the roof and Mr. P's gone. He's left a note that says, "I have to do this for our good, Mr. P." Bunny concludes that we should take the train to Mr. P's carnival, as he probably went back there. So, we make our way down to the metro, only to realize the train is broken down and there's an actual zombie there. Not like the infected we've been dealing with like the whole time, but like a straight up zombie. Random, but okay. Bunny says she'll take a break, and okay, sure, Bunny. Leave me with the frickin' zombie. Perfect time for a break. So after getting the train working, Bunny is infected? How? How did this happen? How did this happen twice? It turns out it was Mr. P. He left us on the roof because he infected Bunny. But that means he must have started this whole infection. With a heavy heart, we leave Bunny behind. And deciding it's time to put a stop to Mr. P, we arrive at the carnival. Which, by the way, is the easiest chapter in the whole game by far. So after speeding through this map, we go into the room, and it's just a zebra and a pony. Not who we were looking for, but their names are Zizzy and, well, Pony. Wow. Really creative there. 10 out of 10 parents. Zizzy says they have a safe place in the city. So we head there and group up with them. The safe place is locked because, well, I mean, if it isn't, the infected will get in. So, our job is to work to unlock the door to the safe place by running throughout the city and finding the different pieces of the puzzle, as always. One thing to note is that this map is definitely the biggest of all the ones in Book 1. There is just a lot of area to explore, and especially dealing with two bots at the same time, that makes this map a very chaotic time. But while we're doing that, under this car, we find a portrait of a potato lady. Kind of looks like Mr. P. Just put it in our pocket for later and head into the safe place. When we enter the safe place, we hear some weird noises coming from one of the alleyways. So, together with Zizzy, we go to investigate it, leading us into the mall. We're inside, there's just a killer robot. Oh my gosh. Anyways, after unlocking the door, we find Georgie. Oh my gosh. We finally found him. Georgie explains that he ran away from his house after his family came back from the hospital, as they acted strange. Could they have been infected somehow? That would explain the monster-like pig we faced all the way back in the house. We all head back to the safe place to regroup and decide our next move, which comes a lot quicker than we all thought. This pony informs us that they intercepted a helicopter signal, which can only mean one thing: Mr. P. With that, we head out for the final confrontation. After a long journey, we finally reach the outpost. It's an abandoned military base where an infected with a literal flamethrower tries to incinerate us. Actually, he wears a mask. He could be uninfected. Who knows at this point? After solving the puzzles, we open the door to the plant. Zizzy and Pony stay back, while I head in. Hey, what is Georgie doing here? Apparently, he wants revenge. Which is actually pretty relatable, so you can come on in. At least we won't be alone for the final confrontation. We head into the plant and are immediately greeted by Mr. P. Now outfitted with many cybernetic attachments. He gives us an edgy speech about us being phantoms that continue to haunt him, and then turns around to kill us. But no, we are not dying today. We do some puzzles while dodging some science bear thing and Mr. P in order to create some dynamite. Using it, we blow up the plant. Everything starts distorting. It's very similar to the distortion that Georgie described in his nightmares. But that doesn't really matter right now. In order to stop this, we have to stop Mr. P. So, we do our final set of puzzles, jumping from different points on our adventure to complete them. While this surprisingly fire OST is playing in the background.
Tells me to do things that I can follow.
And eventually, we get a picture of the potato lady from earlier. It's highly likely that there's a connection between the person in this photo and Mr. P. So, in a last-ditch effort, we hand the photo to Mr. P. He recognizes it and stops, regaining his composure. He explains he left the hospital because he thought we were infected, giving himself cybernetics to protect from the infection. But in the end, it wasn't enough to protect him from his mistakes. Dang, that is a cold line. But anyways, now we're faced with 3 decisions. 3 different ways this could end. Let's start with the bad ending. Georgie wants to hit Mr. P in the bad ending. And honestly, we decide we also want to. Because, this guy created an infection that spread across the entire world. So, we walk up to Mr. P, only to get jumped by that science bear. His name is Badgie, by the way, from before. What a sad way that would have been to go out. Well, anyway, in the good ending, we decide to simply exit the facility, deciding not to take out our anger and hold it all inside. You could say, we didn't get rage baited. Finally though, in the only canon ending, the true ending, we took out that image we found all the way back in the city, now knowing that this is someone important to Mr. P, and hand it to him. It finally allows Mr. P to remember everything, from the starting infection to now. So we get the full story. You see, Mr. P's wife, Mrs. P, had a rare sickness, one that Mr. P was aiming to cure. He hired all kinds of doctors and people to work on this cure. One of those being Bunny. Wanting to save her faster, though, he rushed the doctors to test a cure. And that's when the Piggy family volunteered. Everyone but Georgie. The results of the experiment were actually good at first. They felt strong and rejuvenated. So Mr. P gave the cure to his wife. That's when everything started to go wrong. Reports of the Piggy family becoming hostile soon turned to Miss P, also becoming more hostile, sporting red eyes like the other infected we've came across. So, Mr. P attempted to make another cure. That's when he found us, and discovered some of the infection within us. But even so, we're still alive. Seems like we're immune to it somehow. However, the hospital was shortly raided, and Bunny was attacked. Mr. P gave her a potion to help with her injuries. We already know what happens with those potions. Realizing what he did, he fled in the helicopter. After telling us all this, Mr. P stays behind to fend off the remaining infected, while we escape. He seemingly dies in the process. Once done, as a group, we decide we need to find a cure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of Piggy Book 1. I hope I did a decent enough job explaining the story. There's a couple of things I might not have touched on, but there's plenty of better story explanations here on YouTube that you could watch. Overall, Piggy is one of the best survival horror games on Roblox, and definitely in my top 10 for Roblox games in general. It's got a simple and fun gameplay loop, with an engaging story, and awesome characters. Rest in peace, Doggy and Bunny. While also being polished and well maintained, with lots of passion and love poured into it, standing out as one of the best Roblox games of the past decade. But of course, any game successful as this can't just end here. The story, of course, continues in the next part. After all, we still have to find that cure